Good afternoon, everyone. When dealing with matters of the state, one needs to call upon the pyramids of the universe. May God help us. Here we go. Here we go. Meet the players. It's kind of like a Sims game. He's just called City Manager. Almost like an NPC. Here's his tie, and here is his name. And once again, City Manager. City Manager. Kind of like a little fakey clip art thing going there. Nothing else. Okay? Pretty bare bones. At the bottom, just a little bit about, he's got staff and, email him. So that is player one. And now player two is this little smiling. Wonder why this one is smiling. There she is, or them, or they, or whatever. Now this one has a slightly more glorified kind of title, and we will get into that. Right here, she's the Historic Preservation Officer. That is who you call when you need historic preservation. And she wrote me back and said, check out the historic preservation sites of Olympia. So I check it out, and one is basically around downtown homeless camps. I'm talking to Doc about that one. He's like, well, a lot of the homeless are getting old, so that's historic preservation for you. The other little box looks like it's her neighborhood. I definitely know the mayor lives there. It's kind of more she than historic, shall we say. And everything that is not in that little this or this, well, you know what? It doesn't exist. If it's not in one or two itty-bitty boxes in this itty-bitty map of a much larger Olympia that exists, people, this is it. This is what you get. From the air, downtown Olympia looks pretty uncool. It's not very green. There's like a grickle grass kind of place. They really try to sell themselves as being, these green progressives, but this is what you get. It's called a con sale. Let's get deeper into our, what is her name again? Mary Grace Gadoof. Okay. Historic Preservation Officer, who wrote me a letter back saying, you know, if it doesn't fit in that, there's no historic preservation to be had. It's either going to be in my neighborhood or that little homeless encampment downtown with the old courthouse. I like this depiction of her right here. I've got a little, it's like a bot. I am a bot. But this one gives you more about, God, I wonder how much we're paying her. Planner. When I hear the word planner in Olympia, I shudder. And I wonder how they got that power to plan. There we go, again, as we already know. Historic Preservation Officer. But now we're getting into the snooties. We got arts and culture. Arts, culture, and heritage. All right. Oops. City of Olympia and Greater Seattle. She is making her mark. She is making her mark. Now, what are we talking about again? This is half of a city block, the other half being a beautiful park. If you go up this little lane, do you see this teeny lane? It's so little village. It's so, you could film like a little, you could film a film in there. You could just really, you could really go for it. And I'm sorry they put the fence up before I had any clue anything was going on, because behind that tree is this magical, mystical little wall, and kitties would go back and forth in here, and, you know, little animals, and Mankin keeps pulling me down here. It's where he wants to walk. And it is no more. Unless we can somehow save it. So here we can go back to Google Earth and we can find it. Union and Jefferson. You know, that last little bit of greenery. And here's that Dopey Howard's Cleaners where there's nothing, you know. It's like they act as if they can't build garbage. They're not going to somehow exist. It's just creepy. And these buildings are all empty. There's a dumb one deeper in here. If we turn into it, the Forum right behind those trees, that thing's been sitting half vacant. You know, so they build these things and they just build vacantness, you know. And so the letter I got, you know, it said that all of these people have signed off and they're all just totally cool with it. There is really no historic preservation, and ultimately it's Luciferian. Luciferian is where you invert, where you lie, where you deceive, where you say that you are preserving when indeed all you are is the sign-off gal. You're not preserving anything historic. You're destroying neighborhoods. The Sherwood Press is most likely the most historic building. It's tiny, it's made of brick, it looks almost pilgrim-like, you know, so, and then, you know, throwing on arts, culture. Culture is putting up a square building. That's culture. knocking down beautiful neighborhoods and putting up just utter garbage over and over and over again in this hungry ghost manner. It's Luciferian.